and act together, we can save this situation. I have no doubt about that. Otherwise, I couldn't be here tonight. Or if I was, I'd be saying something else. Let me make two more points here. Let me tell you how I think let me tell you what I think, what contribution that I, Richard Edmonds, can make here, and why I am standing in this election for the leadership in this year. I supported Eddie Butler's campaign last year, and I supported Eddie Butler for every point that he made last year. Eddie Butler went up and down the country. I attended a number of his meetings, and Eddie Butler said, in essence, he said, the party is facing ruination. He said that last year, and it's even more apparent now. Eddie Butler said that in the summer of last year. This statement I've just read out to you came out in January this year, outside auditors. Eddie Butler said the party is facing ruination, and Eddie Butler said of himself, I, Eddie Butler, I'm not a natural chairman for a political party. I, Eddie Butler, am an organiser. That's what he said of himself. He said, I know what the problems are, and I know how to solve them. And Eddie was attempting to get himself elected as chairman leader last year, and he said, I, Eddie Butler, see myself as a caretaker chairman, as an interim chairman, to sort out the problems and then hand the party back to the members. I will say here, I don't want to repeat every speech that Eddie Butler made, and I'll bring it up to date. I will say that one of the problems facing this party is the constitution. Somewhere along the line, we've got to change this constitution. We've got to make it that the chairman is readily accountable to the members. That is a very important change that's got to be made. Readily accountable to the members. And I will say here that I see my role as repeating, more or less, what Eddie did last year. In fact, a lot of my thinking was influenced by what Eddie Butler said and did last year, and I am repeating it more or less in my own mind. I will say this to you. I know they're already saying certain things about me. One of the things is based upon the facts. I am 68 years of age. Quite amazing, really. 68 years of age. I tell you this, it goes like lightning. It goes like lightning. Just in case you wonder. The good side of that is I'm in good health, luckily for that. And I will tell you, I'm going to tell you this, no names, no pack drill, as they say. Where's Chris Roberts? No names, no pack drill. When it was put to me, Richard, you should be the challenger this year because of various reasons. Other people couldn't be the challengers because there's some people, you've got to be in the party 5 years to be a challenger. You can't join if it's 4.5 years. You've got to be in a full 5 years. Anyway, it was put to me, you should be the challenger. So I looked at this individual. There was a long pause. I can tell you there was a long pause. And then because he's an intelligent chap, he could read the bubble coming out of my head. He said to me, Richard, it's going to be a team effort. It's going to be a team effort, and you'll be supported all the way down the line. And I looked back at him and I said, on that condition that it's a team effort, I'll agree to be the challenger this year. And I can tell you, since we had a meeting last night to confirm all this, because you have to confirm these things, you just can't do them off the top of your head. We had a meeting last night, and one way and another, what with the magic of the internet, I know that by 11 o'clock last night that the internet was buzzing with all this. I happen to know that. Anyway, I can confirm to you that all day long, my landline telephone has been buzzing all day long. No names, no pack drill, of course, but there's been umpteen phone calls of support. Best of luck to you, Richard. You know, there's got to be a change in this party. There's got to be some changes. There's got to be some changes. Best of luck to you, and all that, which was very pleasing to hear. But I stress, this is going to be a team effort. We'll introduce the team later on. We're going to have a grand opening Sunday the 15th of May. That's when we'll formally present the thing. Up until then, we're doing these warm-up meetings organised by good people like John. I just want to say one final thing here, because this came up at Newcastle. That was an excellent meeting in Newcastle that Ken Booth organised. Very, very good. Very good atmosphere. Nice, and it was a constructive, responsible attitude. There was no nastiness. No one lost their temper or anything. I'm going to say one more thing because it came out of a question that arose from question time. And I'm going to speak now, briefly, about leadership and leaders. I'm going to say this. I'd already thought this out in my mind. It was rather good that somebody asked this question, which enabled me to reply to all this. Leadership, the party leadership, I see, and I've been in this game, I've been a nationalist 40 years. 40 years of my life I've been an active nationalist, practically non-stop actually. I can tell you, when it was put to me, Richard, you should do the challenging here, it's not only the fact that I'm 68 years of age, but I did think to myself, blimey.
Took it so well.
I never thought that at all. I just thought, look, I'm winding down nicely here, winding down nicely. I like speaking at these meetings. I admire the people who attend them. And I like being active and putting out leaflets. I just like doing that. Otherwise I wouldn't have done it for 40 years. But, look, you've distracted me now. Anyway, I did hesitate, and it's going to be... Anyway, yes, back to this. The role of the leadership has actually got... There's three roles, three subdivisions, three very important functions. Function number one, to keep the party solvent. The role of the leadership is to keep the party solvent, whereby expenditure is within income. Sounds simple, but this party is hundreds of thousands of pounds in debts. The debts are so great, nobody quite knows what the debts are. Certainly the National Treasurer didn't when he told us at the Advisory Council in May of last year there's no debts. He didn't know it's hundreds of thousands of pounds. He either didn't know or he's totally stupid. That's in spite of our members giving £2 million. £2 million been given in, and printers haven't been paid. So, sounds simple. Keep expenditure within income. Keep the party solvent. Second, keep the party legal. Do your best to keep out the courts of law. Keep the party legal. And role number three is keep the party together. And I say that not only because I'm thinking of all the sackings of wonderful men and women who I've worked with or I've known they put their whole into this party, their everything. Not only because I know that, but we have to live with each other. We are a broad church. We're standing up for the British people. The British people are a broad church themselves. There's all sorts of British people. All sorts. So, we have to have an understanding of each other and live with each other. Just live with each other. And that is a role of the leadership, to keep the party together. Not turn it into a fan club. And when I talk about leadership, I deplore leadership cults. I deplore seeing the chairman's photograph on every other page of our party publications. The role of the leadership is quite simple. Keep the party solvent, keep it legal, keep it together. Leaders. This party needs leaders. And I'll tell you where the leaders are and should be. That is at the grassroots. Brave men and women campaigning in their towns, in their localities, in their boroughs, in their counties. Brave men and women standing up for our people, our benighted people, utterly betrayed by Lib, Lab and Con. Brave men and women, that is where the energy and the spirit should be invested, and that's where brave men and women should be encouraged, and they are the leaders. People standing in their town. That is leadership. It takes a lot of guts. Standing in their town, that is the leadership. And they are the leaders that we need. Thank you very much for listening to me, and we'll have a question time later on. I look forward. You've got questions? This is what this meeting's all about. Thank you for listening to me.
Ladies and gentlemen, any doubts of the absolute sincerity of this man? I've done numerous, all about this man's health by the way, I've done numerous rounds of leafleting with this fella, and he's awfully hard to keep up with, even though I'm 20 years younger than him. I can assure you his health is in good stead, and Richard's very good with the grassroots of this party, because he goes out and does what the grassroots do. Connect with people on the doorstep, leafleting, paper sales. Richard does that. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, second half of the meeting we're going to have Eddie Butler speaking, and we're going to have an answers and questions with Chris, Richard and Eddie. So 15-minute break and we're back in. Okay, thank you.